Hey guys, Steve Welch here, Beaman Toyota in Nashville. Had somebody ask a question, and it's a really good one, so I'm actually going to show you guys some information on this. So a lot of people, they have started to realize what that exclamation point with the parentheses around it on your dash means you have a low tire pressure light. Well, the question was, how does it know what the pressure is supposed to be, or how do I know what the pressure is supposed to be? If you've got 32 pounds in the tire, is that right? Is that wrong? So the question is, how do you tell, obviously, what you're supposed to have in the tire? And there's actually two ways to do it, and there's a bit of a twist to what I'm going to show you. All right, so first off, what's going to turn the light on? All right, that's what I'm going to start with here. Right, what will turn the light on? If you look on the inner door jamb of your new car or old car, whatever it is, you're going to see this placard. All right, placard will be in different languages, of course, so you can see different things here. All right, but what you're going to see is tires, front, rear, spare. Right, it shows your size, right, for all of those, and then it shows your pressure over here. So here's your PSI, right? So 32, 32, 32. All right, so if the car's at 30 PSI, chances are your light's not going to be turned on this particular vehicle, right? If it's at 32 PSI, if it's at something like that. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually show you something else, and I'm going to walk over to another car because this is going to be important. So now you're coming over to this Venza here. So I want to show you that it's pretty much the same on all cars for having that placard, of course. But what you're going to see, like on this one, so see, this was 33, 33, and 60. All right, so your spare tire is a 60 PSI spare tire. All right, now that sensor that turns on that light will also sense, in most cases, your spare tire. Reason being is it wants to know if you have a flat spare tire. Obviously, it's not going to leave you stranded that way, so that's good, right? All right, so here is part of an issue. So on something like a Venza, the chances that you're going to modify that car, probably zero. But on something like a 4Runner, you might put some bigger tires on there. You might have a tire that takes a different pressure. Well, you have to reprogram the system to know what tire pressure is there, and you should also placard it to know what tire pressure should be on there. You're going to have a reading that's going to be on your tire itself. Your tire will say 32 PSI cold. All right, what's cold? Cold is, usually somewhere, I believe it's around 65 degrees is considered a cold tire. So if you set a tire that's 65 degrees to 32, when you go up in temperature, you're going to go up in pressure. So as the air temperature increases, the pressure will increase. As the air temperature decreases, the pressure will decrease. So what you'll notice is that when it gets cold, you're going to have your air pressure on your car. Usually your light shows up, and you're going, oh man, it's 32 degrees. It was 60 yesterday. Now my tire pressure light's on. Well, yeah, because you just dropped the 3 or 4 pounds or whatever. I think it drops something like a half pound per 10 degrees. All right, if you're already a little bit low, something like that, if you aired it up at 80 and it was just perfect, you just got the light off, you were right at 32, chances are if it's 20 degrees out, that light's going to be on because it's going to have moved that temperature enough to have changed that light. Or like I said, if you've modified the tire and now that tire takes 60 pounds instead of 32, you put 60 pounds in it, but you don't modify the sensor, obviously, or don't modify the readings, that's going to have an issue. So usually the person that does your tire job will go ahead and update that for you, right? So some vehicles will actually have a set button, and you can do it yourself. So, and kind of look at some of my other videos on that too. So part of the reason that I did this, like I said, is I had somebody say, well, how do I know what pressure it is? Because everybody's always like, well, I always thought it was 32 on everything. It's not 32 on everything, right? So, and then if you walk around and it says 32 and you do 32 and it's a cold day like today, if you do 32 on all of them when it's 80 degrees, now you're going to be over pressure. Your light's going to come back on, right? So a lot of times it's, from what I understand, the light is supposed to come on at plus or minus 3 degrees of nominal. So if it's 3 degrees or 3 PSI of nominal, if it's 3 pounds up or down of where it should be, that light should come on. All right, so if it's too high or if it's too low, that light should come on. And that sensor is mandated in every car. So it doesn't matter what you have, that car is, or that sensor is going to be mandated in your car. So if you want to know what your pressures are, you'll always find it on your inner door well. You'll find it on the tire, like I said. And then some people have asked the question, well, do I go by the tire or do I go by the door? I always go by the tire. Why? Because the tire is set up to have that pressure on there, and then modify the car, sensor to read the right pressure. So that's what I would do. Obviously consult a tire professional and all of that, of course, but the easiest thing to do is just put the tires that are recommended for your car back on your car. But I know people modify them. I know people put different kinds of tires on them, different rims, different things like that. All that stuff, when you do that, you are going to modify that car, and that car is going to have a different tire pressure on there based off of what that car is. All right, so like I said, just trying to show you guys a little bit. Now, I could show you on this tire where the pressure, it's written in really little writing, and it's really hard to see even when you're up close and in person, but it is on the side, and it does say exactly what the tire pressure should be for that particular tire. All right, so now let's go to your spare tire. All right, so I've had people that never knew that the spare tire was a tire that was monitored. All right, so it is monitored, not always, but it is monitored on a lot of cars. All right, so sometimes you have to drop the spare tire in order to add or remove air. Sometimes that tire, it's just, some people go the entire winter and always have the light on, and then it gets warm and they go, hey, look, it's getting warmer, the tire light turned off because my spare's full again. It happens, right? So just so you know, it can happen. You can have different things. Now, if you have a full-size spare, your pressure should be the same on your spare. All right, always remember that. If you have a donut, usually your pressure is going to be extremely high on your spare, 60s, 70s, maybe 50s, somewhere on in there. But if you have that donut tire, you're going to have that. Some spare tires don't exist. It's the other thing. You could have a tire inflation kit. You should know what your spare tire is. Always check on that. But just trying to give you guys some information. Not trying to ramble. Some people say I ramble sometimes, but I'm trying to make sure that the information comes to you to where everybody can understand it, and hopefully that's a way that you can do it. So if you go by the placard and you set everything up and you set it exactly to 32 or 34 or 36 or 40 or whatever that placard says, you're going to be right usually in most cases. If you've replaced your tires, I always suggest check on the tire and check the car. Let's say that the car or the tire says 36 and the car says 34. You can put it to 36. You're not gonna, it's gonna have a little bit of wiggle room in there. It's not, put it right on there and that's where it's got to be. But try to keep it close. Don't put it, if it says 60 on the tire, don't put the tire at 30. The tire's not going to ride right. So, like I said, all my opinions, of course, but I'm just kind of showing you the information, where to find it, how to use it, and a little bit about it. So hopefully it's helped you guys out. Steve Welch, Bema Toyota in Nashville. Definitely like, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything that you guys have questions about, but hopefully this is going to answer the question on the tire light and on how to find out what your tire pressure should be. Steve Welch, Bema Toyota. Beautiful day. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.